Hi guys. Y'all don't even know how many times I have recorded this video and then had to start over, and I'm really hoping this will be the last time. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for excusing my crazy hair. My hair is always just something else when I get on here to do YouTube, so sorry about that. No, I'm not sorry about that. It just is what it is. Somebody told me the other day to stop apologizing, so I'm trying to work on that. So it just is what it is. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about grief and anxiety as a part of grief, because it's been coming up in my life a lot lately, not for me personally, thank goodness, but in the lives of some people who are close to me. And to me, it's very relatable because this is a big issue for me. Death, dying, the afterlife, forever, the idea of eternity, where do we go, what does it feel like? And for whatever reason, I have always thought since I was a little girl that there's a feeling of not being able to breathe when you die, which is maybe kind of silly because you don't have your physical body anyway, so you don't need to be able to breathe. But for some reason, I feel like that's going to freak me out. So I don't like that feeling, and it does make me panic, and the thought of it makes me panic. And just questions about, you know, are we going to know each other? Or am I going to be myself? Am I going to remember anything at all? Am I going to know you if I see you over there? So those kind of questions keep me up at night, and they do definitely cause me anxiety. And, you know, if you don't deal with that, then good for you, but I totally do. So grief. Grief is big and heavy and a lot to process, and a lot of times it causes things like anxiety. I think anxiety more than depression, because it's something that we don't know how to deal with. For example, for me, when my grandfather died, this is gonna be 10 years, 2019 will be 10 years since he passed. And I remember it, sorry, my phone acted like it was gonna die. I remember it like it was yesterday, and it feels like it was yesterday, and I still miss him, and I still think about him and how special he was, and our relationship, and I don't think that ever goes away. So I think that grief is just sort of a part of the life that we live, because dying is a part of life, and because love is a part of life. Because grief really is just an expression of an acknowledgement, really, of the love and the relationship that you shared with somebody who meant something to you. And when they go, you miss them, and it's sad. And that's, you know, that's really why we grieve, right? Because these people meant so much to us, and now they're not a part of our reality, and that's tough to deal with. And for me personally, all my life, I've had what I call, I'm gonna show you, visual aid columns or pillars in my life. And what that means is that there are things that are always true. So if there are things that are shaky or crumble, completely fall apart in my life, there are always these things that are true. And for example, my grandparents were one of those columns, those pillars for me, because other things could be changing in my life. You know, I don't know what's happening from one day to the next, but I could go to their house. I could call my granny. I could talk to Papa. I knew that these people were always going to be here because they always had been here. These people were people that existed before I existed. So they have always been a part of my reality. So when they were no longer, at least physically, a part of my reality, that shook me up, like, to my core. And I did have anxiety about it. I had panic attacks about it because I wasn't sure even what that means. I can't wrap my head around it. And then I had to sort of acclimate to this new reality that they're not a part of. So 3 things that I want to encourage you in today if you're dealing with grief and anxiety as a part of that grief or manifesting as you grieve. And the first is be gentle with yourself. Allow it. Be okay with it. The other day when I felt panicky, I was like, okay, you know, I know where this is coming from. I know that it's sadness. I know that it's loss, and this is part of how it's coming out of me, and that's okay. And I was able to sort of just give myself grace and sit in that and know that it wasn't going to last forever. And I know that that's very difficult to do when you feel anxious and you know, jittery, panicky. I know that. I do. If anybody knows that, I know that. But I have learned to coach myself to use affirmations to remind myself this is temporary and this is happening because of this. Okay, so don't rush through it. Don't try to make it go away. I wouldn't even say distract from it, because it is something that you need to process and you need to go through in order to heal from it. The second thing I would say to do, if you want to, is to find a way to honor or memorialize the person that has passed. Lots of good ideas for this here, and every time I do the video, I think of more good ideas for you. I think they're good ideas. Tattoos, write a song, get a paver. Have you seen the bricks that have the names engraved? Get some jewelry. I've seen the ones that, you know, they'll do the thumbprint or something for you, for the loved one. Things like that help us to feel like we have a connection to them, a physical, something we can touch and hang on to, since we can't touch and hang on to them anymore. And I think that's so, so important, not just for healing, but just psychologically, to remind us that they were here, that they are here, that they loved us, and that they love us. And just acknowledge that relationship, acknowledge that loss. And another, you can give to charity. Sorry, I'm losing my thoughts here. You can give to a charity that they were involved with or maybe believed in. For me, with Papa, he died on the 7th of the month. And so I went to his grave site every 7th of every month for a year after he passed. And, you know, I'm dramatic. I like ceremony, I like ritual. And for me, it was a way to honor him, a way to acknowledge that he led this life and he touched me in this way and he was important to me, and I was never going to forget it. And, you know, he's fine. He's over there probably partying and singing songs and eating stuff and not gaining weight, and that's cool. But it did help me psychologically to adjust also to this new reality. So be gentle with yourself. Find a way to honor them and memorialize them, to keep that connection to them. And then the last thing that I would say to do if you're going through anxiety and grief is, I'm gonna get it together one day, you guys, but today is not that day. So the last thing that I would say to do if you're dealing with anxiety and depression, anything like that having to do with a loved one who has passed, is to laugh. And it seems counterintuitive, I know that, but one of the best things you can do, I think, when somebody dies is to acknowledge them, to remember them in a fun way, in a loving way. So gather your tribe, get your family around you, or your friends, your loved ones, people that also loved your loved one who has passed, and tell stories about them. Talk about your memories, tell jokes, tell their jokes, and look through pictures, things like that, and remember their life for the blessing that it was, and allow yourself to feel gratitude for their presence in your life, for the things that they taught you, for who that they were to you. And for me personally, not everybody believes like I do. I believe that they're here with us, that they have just sort of slipped into the next room. They have just sort of stepped over into that next parallel reality or universe or whatever it is. And they do see us and they do hear us and they are cheering us on and they love us. I know with all of my heart that love is eternal. And if you love somebody, you always love them. Okay, even after you've passed, even after they passed, that love keeps you connected. So to celebrate that love, to celebrate in love, to feel happiness and gratitude and joy because of who they were in that life, there's no better way, I think, to remember them, to keep them a part of your life, to keep them living in, say, your children. My children didn't really know my bon papa because they were too young, and then with my grandparents, I'm going to keep that alive in them and allow them to keep that in their heart and to know these special, special people that they came from. And that's so special to me, and it replaces sort of the anxiety and the worry and the sadness with just this extreme feeling of gratitude and joy, and just I'm thankful every day that I got these people. They were mine. Like, how lucky am I? And you know, we've talked about before, I don't think that gratitude and anxiety can exist in the same space together. So that's the last tip that I have. Be gentle with yourself. Find a way to honor or memorialize or have something tangible with you that you can hold on to, and laugh and be grateful, and surround yourself with the others who can also laugh and be grateful for this person. And so those are my tips today on dealing with anxiety when it comes to grief. Another quick note, and then I'll go. If you are dealing with grief and it feels overwhelming and it's too heavy for you to carry on your own, please call a hotline. Please reach out to someone. There are channels, there are charities, there are people out here willing to help you. I am willing to help you. We love you, and I know that you can do this, so please hang on. I'm going to put some 800 numbers and some contact info in the description box below today. So if you need that, please use it. And if you liked this video, like, share, subscribe. If you want to email me, it's fearitselfpodcast@yahoo.com. As always, I thank you for being here, and thank you for watching and listening. And we'll see you again next time. Live in courage, and I love you. Bye-bye.